Hello guys, I'm Savvy and welcome back to another Kerbal Space Program video. In this one, we are going to be building ourselves a beautiful space station, and I'm going to be putting it around the Mun. So what's interesting about this is that I've used some cool modded parts that, well, not all of them, but for the rocket part of the build, I decided to use some modded pieces, and all the mods are going to be at the end or in the description box down below. At the end of the video, I will also link other KSP videos that I've done recently, and I could probably also link a stream that I also did as well that's Kerbal related. So any of you guys that are loving Kerbal Space Program and the content, whether it's through video or stream, you guys can be linked to that in at the end of this video. And there's kind of a surprise at the end of the video as well. So, and what's interesting is that about this is I only have this video at about, or this part of the video about 1.5 times speed. And I have it that fast, not that fast because it didn't really take me that long to figure this out because I was testing a lot of other designs. And as you can see, I have like the crew cabins on each side that's attached to the centerpiece, which is a science module that is usually for bases on surfaces or even in space stations. And that modded part there too is actually where you can connect pieces together that have hatches, and I just thought it looked cool there. And then for the caps on the sides of those capsules, I decided to put adapters on top of those, and then also like a round cap that you could use for planes and stuff, just to kind of cover it up at the very top of there. And then I started messing with a lot of solar panels, and these are also modded ones too. These are photovoltaic panels, which I believe is from the Near Future Electric mod, if I'm not mistaken. But this is a pretty simple space station that even you guys can build in the game because it doesn't use that many modded parts for one, and it's I mean, it's pretty easy to put it into space as well. Now, if you watch maybe Matt Lown, for example, which if you don't, I definitely recommend watching them because they do a lot of really cool Kerbal Space Program content. They also kind of have some content in terms of like SpaceX and the progress that's being made towards that. So if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, you could check out Matt Lown. But for me, I just build kind of more simple, more, I guess you could say, quote unquote, realistic types of space stations, or at least ways that make it easy to build for you guys, and ways that makes it easy for me as well, because it would take probably a couple hours, probably at least an hour, at most maybe two, to come up with something that has all these rounded parts put all together. And I wanted to find a way too for the space station where we could actually move around in it, because I also have a mod that I use that's called Free LVA, which I'll mention later when we get into real time. And it allows you to move around the interiors of these crew cabins and command pods and things like that. So it's really cool. I also have installed the Firefly mod that actually is a pretty new one that came out not too long ago, that changes the effects of when you are burning up in the atmosphere coming back, or even if you are flying really fast going up in the atmosphere to try to get into space. It's really cool, and you guys will see that later as well. So I'm kind of looking around here, looking at this, because I'm thinking, well, is there anything else that I want to add here? But I really don't. So then we're going to be moving on to, oh, this is the part. This is actually what I wanted to add on here, now that I remember. So I wanted to add these these attachments here, or these the name escapes me all of a sudden for some reason. But these are what you docking ports. Clicked in my brain. Docking ports. So these docking ports, I decided to put them on the science capsule, but then I actually changed my mind and I lowered them a little bit. I actually decided to lower them to the bottom part because it kind of looked a little weird, and I kind of wanted this whole cardinal shape that was going on, um, which it was looking pretty cool. Like you have 4 points, you have the north, south, east, and west pretty much, but I decided to change that, and I decided to keep just the two sides, so left and right, and I made it the same on the bottom too. And also the way that I build these escape pods, or at least pods that allow you to get back to the surface of Kerbin. I had to write the first time. The surface of Kerbin. These are just ways where you're, if you don't want any Kerbals on it, or if you need Kerbals, certain Kerbals to return because you think that they've been up in space for too long, then you could have them come back. And the way that I built it is I had a little Terrier engine. Uh, then I had, was it Terrier? Yeah, I think it's Terrier. And then I put a little, like a very tiny fuel tank on top of that. Then I added a decoupler, then a heat shield, and then I added two capsules. The one that's sit up, right side up, and then another one that's sat upside down, and then I also added some parachutes on that too. A big old, extra large parachute at the top to kind of fill that flat space there. And then I also added some radial parachutes as well that are pretty large too. Now, this is the part where we actually are building the rocket. So I use the Poodle engine, and this one gives this a little bit of a boost. And the Poodle engine is really good for the vacuum because it's really good overall for when you're in space. I also wanted to see if I could put three down instead, and I do eventually do that, but I didn't like how I had it set up because it kind of blocked the windows, and I just want to block the windows entirely instead of just partially because it might just look weird if they're in the way. So I decided just, okay, you know what, we'll just have three of them. It might be a little off balance, but that's okay, only because three just looks good. Three just looks good. So I built it the same way. The only thing is I had to build this one manually. That's the only difference with that one. Building it manually, but it's okay. It didn't take that long to do it because I pretty much already knew the design that I was going for. And actually, I forgot to mention it as well, is that well, by the time this is uploaded, yesterday, I streamed me putting a new and improved space station around Minmus. So I decided to do it around Minmus, and I had a lot of difficulties with it, but I eventually was able to do it. And in that same stream too, I was able to send a rover to Eve. Now, I'd actually really love to do a video on that, but I think we could do that when I do a video series of our journey through career mode. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'll also mention that at the end, towards the end of the video as well, when we go into real time. Now, the fairing is really weird, and I think that fairing is either, I don't think that's part of vanilla. I think that's also modded too, that adds some extra parts. And as you can see, that fuel tank there, that is pretty much the same size at the very top with the fairing there, the base of the fairing, that's modded there. And also those plates, those engine plates too, because I didn't want like to have a really big engine at the bottom. I just wanted to use a smaller one that was more efficient in space, and it actually proved to be quite efficient as well. And the only strange thing is that the way that it coupled up like that, it was weird, so I had to extend or bring the size back out a little bit more, halfway towards the size of the other adapter that has fuel in it. And that's the other thing too, is that these mods with all these fuel tanks that you see on the left side, there's the adapters that have fuel in it, which I love so much. Instead of having to use adapters that are just structural pieces, rather than using ones that have fuel in them, it just makes it so much better, and it makes it better to shape rockets that give you a little bit extra delta V for that. So I really like it. Now this is the part where I kind of struggled a little bit because these engine plates, I'm able to put a lot of engines on this one, but those engines weren't enough, so I had to go with another type of engine with it as well. And I mean, it ended up working out in the end. They're a little bit bigger because we needed a little bit more power in order for it to be lifted up. And I can't remember the name of it at the top of my head, but those will be in the mods that I will mention in the description box down below. So yeah, you can see I'm using those ones, and the way that they're not really symmetrical, but it works out the same. And then the middle one, that one has a middle one too, so then I have to get rid of that first. And I always do this where I don't put the middle one first, and then I put all the other ones, like all five of them, in the beginning, and I'm just like, oh, I can't reach that, so I have to take them back out again and everything. So, but yeah, it ended up working out in the end anyway. So the next part of this build, which I kind of wanted to go a little bit crazy, and this was a way to make sure that I had enough delta V overall, and I wanted to test out some solid rocket fuel boosters, or in other words, SRBs. And I wanted to use some of the modded ones that I had, but not the really chunky ones. Now, if I had like a huge rocket, like this is more tall than it is wide, so if I had a wider rocket, probably would be better. But I decided to go with more of this kind of style here. And I think what I want to do for another space station video probably is build taller rather than wide, or do a little bit of both, where I don't build it as wide as this one, but build it up a little bit more, make it like a skyscraper kind of thing. So that way the rocket shape would be a little bit better, and the fairing shape doesn't look very chunky. I just think it's gonna look goofy when we actually go and launch this thing because I don't know, it's just very comedic to me. And the surprise at the end as well is going to be something that I wasn't even expecting, because what's so funny is that in the stream, the same way that I built the other ones, it worked 100%. 100%. I was able to land it. And you'd think that I'd be able to land it too, but I'm just not going to say any more about that. I'm just going to let the video speak for itself towards the end. But yeah, it was very unexpected. So for the storage parts, I decided to put like repair kits, decided to put parachutes and other science stuff. I don't know why I decided to put like science experiments that have to be put on the surface. But just in case, I guess if you use one of those pods potentially to land, like if we decide to refuel our vessel, or maybe even attach more fuel to the vessel, then we could probably go somewhere else. We could probably go to maybe Minmus, or maybe Duna or Eve, for example. We could probably go to those places. And in my stream series so far, I haven't the farthest I've been has been Sarnis, and that's part of the Outer Planets mod because it adds planets beyond Jool. Okay, so here's the here's the part where it's getting a little dark here, so I might turn up the brightness a little bit, but I did speed up time in order for it to be daytime. So this this part doesn't have to be brightened up too much, or really at all. But look at that fairing. That fairing is so ridiculous. Like, it is crazy. That's why I'm thinking I should build taller than as wide as I did. Just because it's a little ridiculous. I'm just glad the fairing was able to fit around that, but I had to use a really big fairing. There's actually one that's larger than even that, and I think there's some other ones that are useful, but you don't build them up yourself. They're already pre-built that way, where you sit it down and then it closes up, but it's not like straight up and down. It's slanted, so it comes to a almost a point. It still has like an opening at the top, but it's not that convenient, unlike these fairings where you're actually building them up manually. So yeah, we just send this thing really high up, and the problem is with this is that it took a little bit longer for me to put this into orbit, just because I don't think I had enough. I actually didn't have enough power, and I don't think that I should have had more fuel overall too to kind of balance that efficiency with it. And the I didn't have any command modules either. Well, I had command pods, but the reaction wheels. I didn't have any reaction wheels with this, which I thought I was going to have to use them, but apparently I didn't. I actually had pretty good balance with this. It was just the fuel part that was a little bit crazy because if I had maybe an engine that wasn't as not weak, it's pretty strong, but if I had it a little bit stronger, then it would have been a lot better. So it does take a little bit, but it's so weird just looking at this fairing here. Look at this fairing and then seeing the fuel tank, like how tiny it is compared to how the fairing's set up. But trust me, it's worth it in the end because it just looks amazing. And I think I'll turn up the brightness for this part as well, only because it does seem a little bit dark even on my end. So I think it'll be best if I did that for you guys, especially when we start getting to the dark side of the Mun, because the dark side of the Mun is obviously pretty dark. So that's what I'm going to be doing for you guys. And boom, the fairing's out, and we extend our solar panels. Oh my gosh, those photovoltaic panels are so good. And it really brings the variety of different types of ways to power your vessel. There's also the thermoelectric things that don't require you to use the solar panels, but I don't know. Solar panels are just aesthetically pleasing to me, so I'd rather have them than use something that doesn't require them. Or if I did, probably use both, even though that wouldn't make sense. Although in a way, if I use it for one, I could probably have solar panels up there so that way power is generated even faster than just by using the thermoelectric thingies. I can't remember their exact name, but I think it is thermoelectric something. Um, but yeah, so we eventually make our way around Kerbin, and I honestly at the beginning was thinking just having this around Kerbin, but I don't know. I don't know. I thought that this it would have been better around the Mun, and we actually had more than enough fuel to get to the Mun, which was really good. And I used all of the stages pretty much, and with the last stage having some fuel left over, because you want to make sure that you have fuel attached to the or a fuel, uh, fuel tank and an engine attached to the space station because you want to move it around. You don't want I mean, space station's going to be stationary, yes, but you still want to move it around in order for you to put it somewhere else in case you want to. Not just because, you have it sit in place and then you can't deorbit it, you can't decommission it in some way. Kind of like with the ISS, although the ISS technically is still scraping across a little bit of the atmosphere, so it does slow it down a little bit every now and again. But and that'll eventually fall on its own. But for Kerbal Space Program, if you're even a little bit above what the atmosphere height is, it doesn't matter. You're going to be in space. So like 70,000 is not like 70,000.10 or something. It's not going to be like that, where just a little bit above it, there's still a little bit of atmosphere there. It's not within Kerbal Space Program, so you're going to need to have some thrust there in order for you to get down. Whether you're crashing it into a different celestial body or you're wanting to take it back to Kerbin to decommission it, which I actually did decommission in a previous stream of mine, the old space station that I had around the Mun. Because I had one around the Mun and then I made a new one that I put around Minmus. So that was pretty fun. But here we are at the Mun, and this is pretty exciting because this is the part where we're going to be putting ourselves into orbit around the Mun. So this is quite exciting, I'd say. Although it's pretty standard, but Now, I would like to do maybe a land base too, but I'm pretty bad at those. Pretty bad at those, but I think I have an idea for the way I want to build it, which might look similar to that of the space station, just probably not as wide as it is. Although I do want more surface area to have it land. And what's a cool thing about that I just thought of talking about this is having something that is as wide or the shape the same way as the space station here in this video, and put a ton of parachutes on it and just send it down into Eve's atmosphere and then have it land with like landing legs or something. Pretty cool. But here we go. I perfect my circular orbit here, and then we're going to move on to the next part, which I'm going to be talking to you guys in real time. So I'll see you guys in just 1 second. And here we are. We are in orbit around the Mun with our beautiful, beautiful new space station. And the cool thing about this is that I have a mod called Free LVA that allows me to explore this space station. So I'm going to rotate this a little bit so this can hit the sun, just like that, Kerbal, if you will. And this is a little bit finicky with the way that I have these solar panels set up. So you might want to have it more like this, but obviously you want, I mean, as we go around the Mun, it'll face towards it eventually. So I just need to make sure that this has its control here, just like so, so we don't keep rotating back and forth. But let's go ahead and get our friend Bill here to EVA. Now, outside here, you can't really connect with anything here because there's no way to go from the pod to down here. But we're gonna let go and we're gonna RCS ourselves down. And I think we'll start from this side here. I think this will be a good idea. So we'll grab and then we'll board. So with free LVA, I'm able to look around the space station itself. So the hatch is blocked, so there's no reason to go out here, otherwise we'd be able to EVA from there. We can go EVA with through this door, and if we press F for both of these doors that aren't blocked, we can open up the hatch. And now there's going to be several hatches to open as we're going through this. And I will say that with this crew pod, the crew capsule here, or the crew cabin, I should say, it kind of bugs out a little bit, but you can't really see the outside, which is good. So that's all I'm looking for here. And if I'm able to, I could close this, but it won't let me close it. So I can close it from here. We could see the sun that's right here. And just like with EVA, I can do shift to go up, control to go down, Q and E is to rotate, W and S is forwards and backwards, and then A and D is side to side. But we could see the Mun from here. I mean, look at that. That's so cool. And you could see that we have these controls here on the screen as well, but I'm going to put that in the corner there. And if I hit F2, I could actually close this as well, so I don't need to see that. We could see that the others look so pretty. That could be a thumbnail right there, honestly. That could really be a thumbnail. Anyway, let's keep going though. So we're gonna keep going. And it looks as though, yeah, looks like we're in the science module now. And I might want to bring this up here so I can actually see the prompts, so I can open up the hatch and everything. And this is the other side of the crew cabin as well, so we could still see the Mun. You can see that we traveled a little bit there. And on the other side is Kerbal. So I don't know from here if we could see... No, we can see Kerbin. Look at that. Now, I think if we keep going out this way, we'll have a better view of Kerbin. There's so many doors, so many hatches here. The window is... Let's see, that's blocked. The window's right here, so I don't... No, we can't see Kerbin from this perspective, so we have to rotate. But the cool thing is that we can just go EVA if we want to, but I think if we go back this way... Now, there's no other way to go faster here, but if we continue downward, we can open up this hatch, both of these, and now we're in here, which we can EVA from this side. We can see through the little window, Kerbal as well. And this should have a... okay. That window's blocked. Never mind. But yeah, that's how... but that's a space station. Little space station around the mun. I think it looks really, really cool. And I hope you guys did enjoy this, the way that I built this up and everything. So I'm gonna go back outside. I think EVing outside is what we're gonna do now. And yeah, go back out here. Now for some of our Kerbals, let's say we want to go back home. So I'm gonna let go of this, and we're gonna use one of these escape pods. And I think the one we're going to use is the one on the right here, at least from this angle. That's the one we're going to use. And each of these pods can hold up to 2 Kerbals at a time. So I'm going to put Bill in there. Then we're going to have Bob. Let's see, do we have... Is Jebediah not in here? Okay, we're going to have Bob just come out of here. And he's going to go in as well, in this one. Buckle up. Buckle your seatbelts. Let's see. Interior delay over... Oh, whoa. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. That's so cool. Remove slots. Let's see. Do we have other Kerbals here that we could cycle through? No, I think we just have these. Yeah. Bill and Bob. So, we're gonna... Dumby's Kermin. We're gonna have him RCS as well. And we're gonna have him just go here. So this space station isn't gonna have anybody in it, but we can always go and dock with this and everything will be okay. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna decouple this, and we're gonna switch to this part here. And since we have a pilot, we're able to control it. Even if we were up here or down here, it's totally fine. But now we can just head back home if we want to. So, which direction are we going? We're going this way. So, goodbye, space station. Goodbye. Also, this is set up wrong. It's supposed to be down here, like that. Yeah, you might want to check your staging there, but that's okay. So, I'm gonna go ahead and just do this, get us out of the Mun's sphere of influence. And bring this all the way down. Like so. Right about there is good. Alright, there it goes. Goodbye. Goodbye, space station. Goodbye. Goodbye, Mun. And we're just gonna go back home. Easy peasy. Very easy mission, very easy way of building a space station and getting into orbit. It was a little bit tricky at first because I didn't think I was going to have enough Delta V, but totally fine. We were able to make up for that anyway. So now we're just going to fall back down to Kerbin. And call it an easy mission. And I have parachutes on this because this vessel is a little bit heavy, especially with 2 command pods that are there. So I'm going to just go ahead and speed this up a little bit more. And I think I'll just go ahead and use up the rest of the fuel. There we go. Whoa. Oh boy. What's happening? Whoa. This is not what I was expecting to happen. Quick, get us... Oh, that was bad. That was really bad for a second there. But I think we're okay. Whoa. That was a little bit crazy. I'm glad that nothing burned up. I'm also using a new mod called Firefly, which adds these effects to when you're burning up in the atmosphere. When you're coming back through a thick atmosphere, or it could be with Eve, or Jewel, or really anything with an atmosphere. It's really, really cool. I really recommend getting that mod if you're able to. But yeah, we're just going to keep going. I'm going to speed up time again since we're in a good position now. And we should be Coming back down all the way. Yep, that's what it looks like. Perfect. And once we make our landing, that's the end of the mission. So what I'm going to say right now is I do hope that you guys did enjoy this video of Kerbal Space Program. I will be doing more of these where we'll be doing probably more space stations and probably more. I actually plan on doing a Let's Play series of career mode, which I know a lot of you guys are wanting me to do that. So I think we'll be doing that here in the near future. So you guys will be seeing a lot more Kerbal Space Program videos that are more akin to progressing through the game rather than using creative mode. So look forward to that. But I also wanted to let you guys know that if you did enjoy this, be sure to leave a like if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate that. And do not forget to hit the subscribe button as well, because that lets me know that you guys enjoy the content on the channel and would like to see more. I'd also like to give a shout out to all of my members of my channel, which I'll put their names up right now. These are the people who support me on my channel that pay for a membership, and you get benefits for becoming a member of the channel by hitting the join button down below and becoming a member. I have been Savvy, and I will see you guys in the next video. And I'll just continue this until we get back down to the surface. So, bye guys. I'll see you later.